This video is rated G for gas.
This is the Redshift 6 from Supercritical. It is a 6-voice analog polysynth that is quite different than any other synth I've used before. It hosts some of the most interesting technology I've seen in an analog synthesizer, but at the same time, it has an important caveat that you should be aware of if you're thinking of diving in. In this video, I want to share my impressions of the Redshift 6 after playing it for a few weeks. Some things I like about it and some things that I don't. Now please bear in mind, this is not meant to be a comprehensive review, as I like to take my time with my gear before I can give my full opinion. Also, while Supercritical did send me this unit at no cost, they are not paying me for this video and my opinions here are completely my own. This video does have a sponsor though, the good folks at Analog Cases, but more on them a bit later. I want to start off with some of the most powerful specs on the Redshift, which are its proprietary Demon Core oscillator and its neutron flux filter. The Demon Core oscillator is capable of producing a maximum of 6 voices, each with their own DCO controlling analog waveforms generated under digital control. The Redshift is also multitimbral, which means that each voice can be set to be a different sound as well. What makes the Demon Core stand out is that thanks to its digital control, each voice can stack up to 16 oscillators for a whopping total of 96. In layman's terms, it just means that this thing sounds fatter than yo mama. The manual states that the Redshift 6 can use different engines both on its oscillator and filter, yet the current firmware supports only one type of engine for each. Future firmware versions promise to offer more features on this and on other fronts, which is very cool, but it's also part of that caveat I was mentioning earlier, but I'll get to that in a minute. Speaking of the filter, I found that the neutron flux filter was a refreshing take on the concept of a 4-pole variable filter, since you can modify the character of each filter to either emulate the classics, or interestingly enough, to create in-between points and blends of those modes as well. You can set the filter to high pass, low pass, or band pass. There's something in there for pretty much everyone, and it can also become a very performative feature if you begin to experiment with it live. As far as sound designing on the Redshift, the panel is pretty easy to navigate once you know your way around it. The main parameters like the filter envelope, the cutoff, and the resonance have dedicated knobs which can also function as buttons if you press down on them. Same goes for the Demon Core. It's all very readily available and accessible. You access other parameters like the filter and the amp envelopes using dedicated backlit buttons on the panel, and the screen gives you lots of valuable information which you can control with the context-sensitive knobs on the top and bottom rows of it. I really like that they went with a color screen too, because it adds a bit of visual feedback to the whole experience. You get a dedicated amp and filter envelope, as well as an auxiliary envelope, plus a total of 4 LFOs, which really gives you a ton of flexibility in sculpting dynamic and evolving sounds. However, for me at least, having a bunch of sources and destinations is only as useful as how easy it is to assign them, and thankfully, Supercritical have done a great job here as well. Assigning modulations is as easy as holding down the source button from the modulation grid down here, and then turning the knob on the destination parameter. Another great thing about that workflow is that here you can modulate the modulation intensity of sources from the get-go with the via function. So for example, if you want to modulate LFO2 with LFO1, modulate the cutoff, I can just press down LFO1, then LFO2, then cutoff, and it's already routed. You can further fine-tune and check your modulations in the dedicated mod matrix page over here. It's a simple and elegant solution to managing your modulations and your routings, and it's a good thing too, because this is one of those synths that you're going to want to tweak to no end. I want to take a brief moment to thank today's sponsor, Analog Cases.
Ever wonder how and where I store all of my gear on the channel when it's not on my desk? Well, I keep it all safely stacked and protected from dust and my toddlers with Analog Cases. Analog Cases makes custom cases for most popular synths and group boxes, as well as desktop stands, performance stands, and my favorite, the TrackPack Backpack, which can easily fit an Ableton Push 3 or an MPC Live 2.
And was voted this year's tastiest backpack to chew on by Milo, my French bulldog.
Use my affiliate link in the description to get a discount on your next purchase.
Thank you so much, Analog Cases, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so it has lots of power under the hood, but all of that really doesn't matter unless it sounds good, right? Well, worry not, because the thing is, this sounds amazing. This might be the best Roland synth that Roland never made, because after playing with it, I don't even miss my System 8 that much anymore. I'd say it's especially great for 80s and synthwave kind of vibes, and I especially appreciate that Supercritical got Gtdandy to design some of the presets, because frankly, he's one of my favorite all-time sound designers out there. The presets that come on this thing are really, really good, and I especially like the classic polysynth sounds. So we have lots of power, and we have great sounds, but like all things in life, nothing's perfect. And I need to point out something that's pretty important to know if you're thinking about getting one of these for yourself. How much this actually affects you will depend largely on how you view modern-day production releases from small companies and startups. Now, let me explain. In my experience, there are two groups of people regarding purchasing products that can be upgraded and expanded. Think iPads, cameras, synthesizers, or even video games. People who buy things for what they are, and people who buy things for what they could be with future updates. This of course also depends on the company you're buying from and their track record on delivering on-set promises. If you bought an MPC 5 years ago, hoping it would grow, you're probably a very happy camper with all the updates. If you bought an LP1 Field, on the other hand, with the same expectation, you might be disappointed because there hasn't been a big update in quite a while now. Also, I know lots of people who don't like the feeling like they're being used as beta testers when they paid for a supposedly finished product. What makes the Redshift peculiar in that regard is that, as it is right now, it's a hell of a device. It's a multi-timbral analog synth that sounds massive with an extensive and easy to operate modulation matrix. However, you will run into this message quite a lot, which can make it feel like a pre-production unit at times. Now, me personally, this ain't my first rodeo, and I remember the Deluge also had a similar message pop up when you clicked on a few of the buttons back in the day. I think it was the wavetables, and I didn't really mind. The device was so good that having the promise that it was going to get better in the future was really cool. Having a physical button right there kind of guarantees that that's going to come, right? I feel the same way about the Redshift. It's a great device that's being developed by a team of clearly passionate people who are actively listening and responding to their Discord community. So I have high hopes that this will meet and hopefully exceed its potential. In the coming months, I'll be further exploring the Redshift 6 and I'll be posting more videos as it evolves. So don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out. Also, if you want access to my original music, my multi-sample instruments, and the most amazing Discord community on the face of this earth, head over to Patreon. Everybody's welcome there. If you'd like to see another one of my videos about a new amazing analog synth, be sure to check out this video right here. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.